Yeehaw. All right, and the first thing we hear on the stream is Maureen's
typing. I'm letting the team know we're streaming.
Alrighty, so welcome everybody who is here. It says 0 viewers, so welcome to nobody.
And I'm not even watching yet, so there we go.
Didn't you say it had told you that there were some people waiting?
The little video said 5 people waiting. I mean, the little thing under the... There we go. Alright, I just posted it.
So the question's going to be, did I actually connect to the right stream?
Okay, so I see the stream, and I muted it. Did I mute you?
No, I don't know.
No, we're good.
Okay.
So I can watch your screen. Yay.
But we still have an echo of your audio.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you mean a delay, or you're actually hearing the audio?
I need to hang up the Discord call.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, can you still hear me? Because I think...
Yep, that's better.
I was muted.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on.
So we're doing that, and then we're going to get into the meeting room on Discord.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah, you're good. All right.
Now I can't hear you.
Why not? You can't hear me because you need to hear me through
I can't
YouTube.
hear you at all. I think we were just hearing each other through Discord.
Right, so you need to get into the
And that's how we did the Christmas party.
You need to get into the CAD meeting room. I'm quiet, thank you. I will turn myself up. I am already all the way up. How's that, Thomas?
I'm cut off. I can't hear anything.
Technical difficulties. I can turn Maureen down to... my volume is maxed. At least through this thing. I can play with my filters. I will make up some gain.
So someone can... Tom, you can hear me? Tom Nelson? Why can't I hear Tim? I don't understand.
Because you're not in the meeting.
Oh wait, okay, I figured it out. Yeah. I got it.
One day we're gonna be like pros.
Wait, but now I can hear myself.
All right, I'm gonna turn down Maureen's audio.
I can hear. Okay, so I turned on the audio of the stream, and now I'm hearing myself 5 seconds later. This is not gonna work.
Mute your stream.
Okay, but then I can't hear you. Now I can't hear you because I'm not getting any audio through you.
Get into the Discord.
Because you're not sharing anything with me.
Get into the Discord meeting room.
Okay, so you're getting my audio and video through OBS Ninja.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going there. Oh, that's right. I needed to go in there. But we're not going to the CAD team meeting room, Tim. Aren't we going to the other one?
I don't know. Maybe.
Oh, here I am. Okay, now I can hear you. Okay.
But now we have double audio from you again. So
really?
Mute your YouTube.
Oh yeah. Okay. So mute Ninja. No wait. Mute me where?
I just muted you on OBS Ninja.
Okay. So did I. Okay. So now we can hear each other.
Yeah, you're still a little spectral. You're a little We're gonna have to figure this out some other time.
What do you mean spectral?
There's still two audio there's two audio feeds coming in somehow.
Coming into you because you're hearing.
Oh.
Something. Are you hearing the stream?
No, I'm not hearing the stream.
Maybe you can't. Huh. Boy, am I glad nobody knows about this stream yet, because this would be a pretty sad thing to watch.
We need to get. Do you have speakers on, Mo?
I've got headphones.
Interesting. Say something else.
Something else?
All right, it's echoey, but it's not double now.
Okay.
All right, so let's just go with it. What do you say?
Hey, David just joined the chat. Woo! Okay, if it's up on you, I don't have double anything, so I think it's just on your end.
Okay.
Oh, Tom says it's even worse now.
I'm going to turn down your user volume on Discord. Try that.
Yeah, but then no one will be able to hear me. No, just you won't, right? Just you won't be able to hear me. So, yeah, turn that off.
But my audio for you is coming through Discord. So
yeah, but I can hear you, and you won't be able to hear me through Discord, so it should be fine.
Oh, there we go. That was it. I muted you on Discord. And
do you still have...
Yeah, that's it. We got it. That's it. I muted you on Discord. You can hear me.
Okay.
Technology! That's the weird thing about this. I mean, what do we have running? We have Discord. I'm running OBS. We have a web browser open for the Marble Machine project files. And then we're also going to have SolidWorks going. So, and all this.
Yeah, that's pretty standard. At least I have a monitor big enough to handle all this now.
Right,
that's nice.
Right. Yeehaw! So let's start.
Okay.
All right. How are we doing? Eric sent me this cartoon of someone like streaming for like 3 hours, and then at the end of the stream, it's like, "Thanks everyone for watching," and it's like 0 viewers. So thank you everybody.
We've got at least 3 or 4. That's cool.
We have double-digit viewership. So thank you. No, I do mean that sincerely. Thank you for being here.
Yeah. If anybody wants to, okay, so yeah, I'm trying to keep on top of the chat in YouTube. And if anybody wants to post pictures or something, I mean, we're testing out how phase 2 is going to work. So I've also got chat open, the Discord chat. So I'm watching both of the chats while we're talking about stuff. Are you looking at the YouTube chat at all, Tim?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
yeah. Nothing can go wrong with SolidWorks except for pretty much everything.
Everything's going to be going wrong all the time. It's fine.
Yeah.
No problem.
So to be clear, and I'm going to try to, there's one kind of sin that we have to commit, which is that, even though most people watching this are people who are going to be, already know about the MMX stuff, I'm going to try to make it so that people who are not familiar with what we're doing with Marble Machine can also play around with us.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've grouped things. What the heck am I doing?
Oh, I gotta do something. Hold on. I'll be back in a sec.
Okay.
All right, let me take off my...
All right. I have just let me I have no idea if I'm going to know when you're back. I actually have a screen set up for me plus Maureen versus me plus but now that I have you muted in Discord, I don't see you. All right. I'm just going to leave you up because otherwise I have no audio from you.
Wait. Okay.
So, hey, Sufi, can I borrow your headphones?
Yes.
It's kind of too late. I realized I had that we had audio issues, and I'm like, oh, I forgot my headphones. And I looked over, I'm like, I've texted you and sent you a Slack, and all right, come here. I'm going to subject Sufi. So I run a business incubator. This is a CEO.
Hello,
his name is Gurkern Sufi. What do you do?
We create embryo selection tips for patients going through IVF.
Yeah. So they put embryos through little tubes on computer chips and pass currents through them and determine viability, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, and we made
Dang.
amazing stuff happen.
Boom! All right. I threatened the people. I threatened the people who were here. I said, because this is a working business incubator. I said you can feel free to walk through the background of the shot. Don't feel like you can't use the space, but if you get in frame, I may force you to give your elevator pitch and tell people what you do.
It's all good.
So anyway, back to the original sin. So for the people who aren't part of the CAD team, who are watching, there's this marble machine. You should go watch it.
Nah, you know what? You just need to put a link in the description every time of just saying, here's what we're doing, etc.
Yeah. So most of the people here know about the marble machine. I can't imagine you know about me or this stream and you don't know about the marble machine, but in case you don't, it's another YouTube channel, and we are basically redesigning this machine. Wearing the t-shirt representing. And we've been sponsored by SolidWorks to redesign this machine. We started in, Martin started designing it in Fusion 360, but that program can't handle it, and we are going to be redesigning it basically from scratch, making a touring version of it. So that's the thing. But because we've been playing with SolidWorks, most of the people on our team are familiar with SolidWorks, have some experience with SolidWorks. But we have SolidWorks connected. They have given us the 3D Experience platform, whole thing. And so we are deathly afraid of doing this wrong or setting it up wrong.
I don't think there's nothing.
I'm deathly afraid of.
Well, any kind of learning experience is not wrong,
Right.
Like.
Right. But certainly for we spent a bunch of time bringing models into Fusion 360 and kind of updating them and doing things, and then we realized that Martin wanted accessible engineering files also in Fusion, and so had we known that, had we kind of gone through this once, we could have made it so that you had the really detailed, all the bolt holes, all the fasteners, something that were accessible if you roll the timeline forward, right? We made some baseline decisions in a certain way that if we had to do it over again, we would do it a different way. Is that safe?
Yeah. But it, clear communication is key.
Right.
But the other thing is, we're just sort of making up our system as we go, because this is sort of a strange project to be organizing. It's got its own quirks. So there's still going to be that aspect to it, even though SolidWorks has all sorts of PDM fancy tools we can be using. We're still going to have to tailor it to what we need. But I think we have a much better idea right now about what we're going to need than we did back in May.
Yes.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So the idea here, and Jordan, I see your question, we're going to be working with a PDM. Yes, and we're going to be using not the, because SolidWorks has a client-server type PDM system. We're working with the 3D Experience platform, their PDM system. And it comes with project management stuff, a bunch of stuff that the current Marble Machine team, like right now, Mo is dealing with, we have a bunch of things in Discord. We have a channel for posting status updates. Like we have a bunch of stuff in Airtable. And so SolidWorks has given us these tools, which is awesome.
And don't forget Google Docs.
Oh, yeah,
Google Docs and Inside Fusion itself. Yeah.
So we are trying basically to use the professional tools that it says it's back now. Anyway.
But we're going to be using the SolidWorks stuff as much as we possibly can. But because the project extends beyond SolidWorks, we're still going to have to be using Airtable and stuff. Because we're not going to import the entire database that's full of, video and photo reference. We're not going to be bringing all that into SolidWorks because it's already ready.
Right. Yeah, so the idea is we are going to bite off this project and kind of, yeah, so together we'll kind of learn how we're going to use this platform while we are doing something that is Marble Machine adjacent. So we don't make any and then when we start the phase 2, really redesigning the entire Marble Machine, we're just doing it the right way.
Yeah, we'll know, well, we won't know everything, but we'll know a lot more than we do right now about how it's going to work.
We'll know enough. So this is the project. You can see in the browser, it's this Marble Machine. I copied a bunch of kind of source material into the 3D space that I made for this project. And Martin created it. He used Legos, and he made these. I mean, it's awesome, but it's also kind of Martin level 1. And so, you know, there's a video that I took all these things from where he had the Marble Machine, and he was playing in a live arena. He had the Marble Machine, and then he had a backup computer that would simulate the Marble Machine playing in case it failed, and then a backup computer to the backup computer. And
You mean the music box?
Oh yeah, sorry, the music box. And so the idea here is that we can design one for him that is going to be as robust and as reliable as we aim to make the Marble Machine. He called it the 5th member of his band at one point. So that's basically kind of it. I mean, what I've done here to prepare is that I have Music Box Project. I have this collaborative space. I have found a stepper motor, and I have found a music box. The let's see, 3D drive.
Is this stepper motor a Lego, like Lego
No,
brand?
Yeah, and it's actually not a stepper motor. I had made some web notes here. So he used a DC gear motor, which is a noisy kind of motor, right? Both electrically and mechanically. And but what I want to do is I want to start with the kind of a discussion of design requirements. And if people who are on the CAD team managers, if you want to hop into the CAD meeting room and actually participate vocally, you can. Or you know, we can deal with chat from YouTube. But I wanted to kind of start with talking about design requirements. Essentially, he has it's a 75 millimeter wide paper strip that's punched that goes through this music box. That music box is attached to a piece of wood which resonates and makes the sound. And so he tested a bunch of stuff. He found that 9 millimeter plywood sounded best, right? So I've already put 9 millimeter plywood plank as a design requirement into our requirements document. I'm doing this, I don't know, this is one of the little like notepad apps that's available on the platform. And when I do prototyping and kind of new product development for other people, I always start with the product requirements document, and then I will present it to the client, and then we will agree on the requirements. And that way, it's better than if we can we all can agree if we hit the target. All right, so the idea here is the compatibility with, you know, these are the givens: 70 millimeter paper. There's going to be a large wheel that holds the tape. The tape's going to be pulled through. The music boxes have a crank mechanism, but those cranks will fail. They're plastic. There's a better version with copper, but it's also, you know, not very consistent, and it's mechanically not reliable. And then we don't know if this is a feature or a bug, but the tape, there is no, at least for now, we're not going to have a tape-up reel, right? There's the old school reel-to-reel magnetic tape recorders. They had 2 reels, and also like movie projectors, right? They would have 2. They had a take-up reel and a feed reel. So here it's just going to fall onto the floor. this is a conversation we can have whether or not we want to have a take up reel or not. So that's the baseline function. You know, a big driving function of this machine is to allow contact microphones to pick up the vibrations on the soundboard without having any other noise. So there's a video which we can put a link to in the description for later, where he had the soundboard mechanically isolated, kind of suspended on these rubber bands, and then he also had the the motor kind of vibrationally isolated as well. So we're gonna continue on that with a product requirement. But the big questions I have for this thing is, you know, should we try to, if you look at the, can I do this without, I wonder if I can do this. I should probably open up 2 windows, so I can go back and forth.
Well,
Yeah.
What do you want to go back and forth between? Because you can put both of them on your dashboard.
Yeah, I just don't know if I want to edit my dashboard in real time. That's all.
I mean, they were both kind of there in the project, weren't they?
Yeah. I mean, the one thing the one like kind of a design expectation I don't have from the dashboard and the 3D experience space is that it be easy to use for live streaming. I don't think that if I can go back and forth between tabs like this, I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But you know, there's this design aesthetic, right? So this this kind of construction, and in this, and also like Martin's original marble machine, right? Part of what made them cool, and I'm conflicted, and I want to hear opinions on this. Part of what made them cool was that they looked very homebrew, right? They
were very homebrew. I mean, that's
right.
And this music box definitely matches the original marble machine, both in visual style and, you know, it's sort of Lego based rudimentary functions. And even, I mean, I can't tell from this photo, but even the way that Wintergotten is spelled on the side kind of matches the way that the wire Wintergotten was on the original machine. So
right.
I would say, since Martin upgraded the machine to the MMX, I think we should make you know, an MMX style version of this, so he has a music box that matches the MMX. Yeah. Like, that's what I'd want to do.
Yeah, I like that. I think I agree. So that's why, you know, I think stylistically the fit and finish should be like the current MMX that we've been watching him build. Or I mean, we haven't designed the touring version, but it might be that the touring version is even another level of kind of fit and finish.
Well, one of the original things about this music box is I think it was originally meant so that all the pieces of it could fit inside the box. And it didn't quite work that way. And I think if we could make it work that way, that would be great, because then we have our own, like, one little solid piece of thing that goes on tour, and it just all fits in there, and you don't have to worry about anything getting broken, etc.
So, but here's the question, right? Because that design requirement, if you watch that video, was that he wanted it to be able to be in the carry-on luggage, right? And it ended up being too heavy for the carry-on.
Yeah, I don't know if we'd need to keep that, but I just think having it be in its own case.
The marble machine isn't going via air freight anywhere, right? So
yeah,
that is, I mean, Martin's not going on tour with carry-on luggage anywhere.
Well, we not carry on, but we don't really know how it's going to move around the world.
Right. So I would say that I think
Hey, if we could get it to fit in carry on, I mean, maybe not weight, but size. If we could do it, I think we should try. That's a nice thing to go for.
Yeah. Well, how about this? How about
that's like a bonus. We should probably prioritize. Yeah, like what we make sure we have our like must have, want, and like would be nice list.
So Jordan's asking us to put tank treads on it, and
it's Joran, it's not Jordan.
Joran? Oh,
it might also be Joran, depending. But Tank treads are not quite MMX. Maybe the touring version will have tank treads.
It could be. What if all the end little rivets on the tank treads were all little Wilsons? Then you put a Wilson on something, anything is MMX, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yorin. Okay, we got it.
All right. Thank you. So I just put that down here into optional / possible features. So we have fits in a standard luggage case, right? Not a carry-on luggage case, but like it could go on an airplane, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then there's other optional features, which is like, should we make it so that, like, if you think about it right now, the way that existing box works, the tape, you have to put the tape onto the wheel and then turn the wheel and load it. So one of the things we definitely can do is make it so that you can have multiple wheels that are all preloaded.
Preloaded, yeah.
Put them on, feed them in, and go. So you have hot swappable wheels.
Yeah.
Is something
probably they wouldn't. Well, that wouldn't all fit then. Well, normal size luggage maybe, and one of the design functions of that wheel there is that it's collapsible so that it can fit inside the box in there. Whether or not we keep that, having a collapsible wheel should also probably be discussed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe there's a way to make a different kind of collapsible system that we could do multiple wheels. I don't know if they'd be preloaded, but at least you could preload them on stage, like open them all up.
Yeah, I was thinking we give them 2 different wheels, right? And
yeah, because then you can swap back and forth.
Yeah, and Cookie is saying use a bicycle quick release. We thought about that, right? I mean, and actually don't even need to clamp it on, because gravity, if you have a dropout like for a bicycle, it could sit in the saddle with a bearing.
I think you'd want a little tiny something on top, because musicians go nuts when they're on stage. Like, it's gonna get bumped or something. Who knows? Like,
maybe. But back to requirements. So, do we have multiple wheels? Yes or no? I was thinking there might be an on-machine mute button. I noticed that when you load the paper, it makes a sound. So just in case they want to, of course, maybe they can mute it. I don't know. That's a question, whether or not we need an on-machine mute button.
Right.
But then also, I think if we look at the, oops, let's close this. Electrically, the last version was kind of a nightmare.
The one that was actually on stage.
Yeah, some of the electrical wiring was
where it wrapped the ground around the whole wire. Yeah, I mean, I think there's room for lots of improvement as far as electrical engineering goes.
Yeah. So here's a picture of how that thing folded up and collapsed. Now, if we don't have a collapsible wheel, it's potentially the entire thing could be
just a soundboard. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. David's asking if there's a specific Pelican case model already determined. And David, thank you for volunteering to find us a Pelican case size, and we'll design that as a constraint. No, I mean, I'm not joking, right? I mean, I think I do. There are.
I don't know what Pelican cases are. What's that?
They're like they're rugged, foam-lined equipment cases. Pelican's a brand, but they're kind of the
like a violin case.
No, they're let's look up Pelican cases. They're they have foam, and then you have these little inserts, and you can actually get them. You can actually have them like custom made, where you give them the shapes. And no, they're not cases for Pelicans. You can actually get them made where you can upload shapes and have them say, hey, I want this part to be this deep. I did this. I had a really slick instrument case that I took to clients with my last startup, with all of my diagnostic equipment in it, and I made it snazzy just so like when I showed up at my client, I could like open this case and it had like everything like perfectly associated. So you can do a good job with a case. But
Okay.
yeah, the idea is that we design it. I think that's a good point. I think I think designing it to fit into a not just a standard luggage case, but into a specific. Right, we can.
Yeah, an off-the-shelf case. Not. I mean, is the touring version? Are we gonna try and reduce the number of custom parts if we possibly can? Like, I know we're talking about consolidating fastener sizes and stuff like that, but I mean, it seems like the less things that have to be custom made, the better.
Right.
Okay, so okay, keep going on your. You've reached the end of your doc. There's something I want to say if you're done.
Yeah, let me make sure I haven't missed anything. So, I think we need to keep the suspension mechanism that he had, where he had these. They don't have to be bolts, but basically have a suspended chassis. We will isolate the motor from the chassis. I do think we're going to get a lot of benefit from just having a quiet motor. Technic, clear path. There's these servos that nerds like me know about that are servo motors that people put in for the instead of stepper motors, and they are dead quiet and they're powerful and they're like just integrated and they just work. They have some of these that are made for constant velocity applications, and so the project that they have for the motor on the marble machine is also a candidate for this. They picked a different thing. They picked a brushless motor that's going to have an encoder. It's basically what this is. It's a brushless motor with an encoder. It's just packaged better together. Everything is already integrated. The driver is already there. Everything. Anyway, so these kind of get down to a NEMA 23 size. So I kind of want to start with that as an assumption because I know that these motors, they're off the shelf. They're not cheap. I guess they're cheap for being a servo motor. They're a little over $200.
What did you say? The size is what? I'm not familiar with that. NEMA? What's that?
NEMA 23. That's a standard for electrical motors that have a given bolt hole kind of plug-in sort of thing. All stepper motors conform to a NEMA standard, and there's different sizes: NEMA 17, NEMA 23, NEMA 32.
So how big is it? Like
NEMA 23 is about this big, and they can be longer or shorter, but I think 23 is like 2.6 inches. The diameter of the bolt holes on the face is like maybe it's 2.3 inches. So the whole motor is like 3 inches across. It's probably overkill for this application, but it's certainly going to be strong enough to get what we need to pull this paper through the machine. Look at the size of this DC motor here. So if we do walk away from Newsx is saying, isn't it 2.3 inch square face for a NEMA 23? And I think it's something like that. I don't know what dimension the 2.3 refers to, but it's one of the key dimensions of that. Then Yoran asked if it's 23 millimeters apart. I don't know which ones. I just know that they're standards. So I have this motor already in SolidWorks, so we can just measure it and we can find out.
Yeah. So Tom asked, does SolidWorks Connected have a fastener library or something like that?
No, it doesn't. The one thing, there is a toolbox that SolidWorks normally has, but it's not available for Connected, which is like, boo. It's not my favorite aspect because the SolidWorks, the way they do bolts is like they have like they'll let you pick a standard like ISO type metric bolts, and then you can grab the type of bolt like a countersunk bolt, grab it, and put it onto the hole, and it detects how deep it is, and will like project automatically kind of give you the right bolt size. So awesome. And yeah, NewsX, we're going to end up using McMaster-Carr CAD files for the bolts. So we're going to have to build our own library. We're not going to be able to use the toolbox that's built into SolidWorks because it's SolidWorks.
That may not be a bad thing though, because having our own, well, we'll see. I mean, there's so much custom stuff on there right now, but that's what we're trying to get rid of. So I don't know.
Right. Yeah. So we're going to end up coming up with the library for this. But the last thing I was going to say, if you look here, there is a controller knob here. I don't know if this ended up coming in the videos, but I think that's probably for the speed. And then there's an on-off switch for the motor. So
yeah, maybe different songs are, you can control the speed for different songs there.
Right. But I think if we don't have this storage area in here, the whole thing could be, I don't know if maybe it's an aesthetic thing, but the whole thing could be a lot. It could be half the steps.
Well, resonance will depend on the size and shape of the box, not only the wood.
The resonance is only happening in this plate right here. Everything else is isolated.
Okay.
So, and the contact mics go on top of that. So, I think the size of the box is going to be an aesthetic choice. But when we're talking about then fitting the thing into suitcases, that's going to...
Another thing we could talk about is maybe seeing if it can just be attached to the MMX somehow. Instead of, have it have a standalone stand, but also see if we could make it just like in the CAD model, try and figure out if it can be attached somehow. I mean, that wouldn't really be playable, but it might be nice to see this little baby music box next to the big MMX. I don't know, just like, so this is what I wanted to ask. So what we're doing right now is you're sort of going over the design requirements, stuff we've sort of thought about a little bit. We've been doing a little bit of brainstorming right now. But for every part that we're going to be going through, can't just be me, right?
Yeah, don't know.
Maybe it's you.
Maybe it is me. So I have a really good internet connection here. We have a fiber optic line. But last night I was teaching a class at the business school, and right at the end, as I was giving my summary remarks, the internet completely died at the end, and so
that's always when it wants to die. When you're saying goodbye.
No, it is me. Look, because I got logged out of the this thing too.
Oh well, just something else to troubleshoot.
Yeah. All right. So coming next week, a more secure internet, more reliable, and I'm not even on wireless. I am wired to the from this computer to the hub. So
yeah. Well, okay. So what I was saying was, all right. So what we're doing is the presentation part of whenever we're going to bring up a part to talk about it. And so you have an outline, we have a vague idea of what we're hoping to do, and some wants and some needs and all that kind of stuff. So then the next step would be opening this up to the community, right? Is that how we've been talking about your little flow chart of how we're doing stuff?
Yeah. Let me pull it up.
And I think the original plan was to give people a week to discuss in Discord or wherever, and maybe using the SolidWorks platform as well. But to discuss
that's not it.
The ideas and do brainstorming and have someone look up what the motor size and the suitcase size and kind of do that. And then then 1 week later, people would present their ideas. And also what we'd be doing in that time would be going through the idea vault for that part.
Right.
And getting all the ideas that we can find that anybody ever posted about it. And so in the second week, people would present their ideas, and this is what we haven't figured out how it's going to work then. And and then somehow we decide what we're gonna do, and then we pitch that to Martin. Like that's what I don't.
Yeah.
That's what we need to figure out with what we're doing right here.
Well, we need to figure that out with Martin, right? I don't
Oh
know.
no, but I mean, just all the stuff before Martin, we're gonna have to figure out, like, what happens when and which meeting, and how do we present this information to people to get their ideas, and then how do we track that information?
Yeah, so tracking
in a logical way.
Tracking is that's a question in terms of how do we do that with the platform, right?
Yeah.
The idea, and maybe it's also in because we have the idea vault stuff kind of already brought into Airtable as well.
Not yet, but it will be.
I thought we made a database for Martin.
No, that was for Martin's ideas, but we have not mined the idea vault yet. That's a big project.
Yeah.
But there's a place for it to go in Airtable, yes.
Right. Yeah. So the idea is that we have multiple kind of threads happening. At least this is the way I see it, is that we have multiple threads happening with it, which is like, if we're talking about, Martin wants to have a different way of doing the marble lifts, right? Instead of using magnets on those wheels, to do some other way, right? So we're gonna week one, the first week we talk about that. We're gonna talk about it. We're gonna have a conversation with Martin about what are your preferences? Are there design requirements for it, right? We kind of will develop like what's the envelope of possibilities here, and then we'll have a week for people to respond to that. And then the next week we will be talking about like what some of those ideas are, and then we will pick one or two to kind of more fully develop from idea status into something more like an actual kind of model. And then the third week we'd come back, and so every episode we'd have multiple things. We'd have old business and new business on the agenda, right?
Yes. Yeah, it would be overlapping, and then we'd have review time with Martin, or however we schedule it. Yeah. Hey, can you move your flowchart a little bit to the left? It's getting cut off by the
no, I cannot do that.
The little people. Or can you?
It's right there.
Really? There, that's good.
Yeah.
So I've been poking around a little bit inside the SolidWorks 3D experience, trying to wrap my head around it and get used to all the tools and everything. And here's the unfortunate thing. There is an actual good way for people to pitch ideas and share their CAD models and share their napkin drawings and whatever, and post it in the I don't know if it's using 3D Swim or one of the other little apps, but it's pretty nice. And then the people who are reviewing it, so you and I could promote ideas to a higher level, and then eventually take the one that we decide on, and that would be what we start with to work on a part, which is all great. But the unfortunate thing is, with only 20 seats of SolidWorks, and if we're tapping into the whole Discord community, it's going to be, because that's what we're hoping to do, right? Is we're trying to take the knowledge base of possibly hundreds of people, but certainly dozens of people, and the power of the idea exchange and just the crazy knowledge base of all of the MMX fans, and actually utilize that. So I don't know, maybe we'll have to have some way for people to, I don't think people can present their ideas if they're not logged in, if they're not members of the 3D experience, but I'll have to look in to see if we can. Well, okay, I'll have to see if we can look into if people outside have access to just posting things, because there are sort of like, social media channels throughout the SolidWorks experience. So maybe input from outsiders is allowed. I don't know yet. The other way we could do it is, utilize. I was already planning on making more channels inside Discord for phase 2, specifically for people posting their ideas. And possibly I could have the PM team make little presentations based on the ideas found in the Discord chat, and they would have access to uploading that to SolidWorks.
Yeah. Well, the idea
Um,
that
I
I
have a
had.
stupid idea. You guys want to hear it?
Hey, okay, so
Yeah,
for
what's
people
your idea?
watching, this is Andre coming in
Andre
the
is
Discord.
speaking
Hey.
now.
Yes, go ahead.
Imagine if these SolidWorks seats were like Senate seats, and people were like electing their, best designer, to represent their constituents for
Uh-huh.
some term.
I mean, yeah, we could
But I want
try and divvy it out that way.
I want the people serving in our CAD Senate to have a spine. I don't want to, sorry,
I
political
think,
dig. Well,
yeah,
that's not so. What Andre just said was not too far away from the way I was thinking. Not it was I was thinking that basically when we had some ideas we liked, we would basically pick somebody who has one of those 20 seats that we have to be the champion for that idea, right?
yeah, or maybe we'd assign them. I mean, we'd have 20 seats and maybe 20 ideas. So going around like in a round, whoever hadn't been assigned an idea lately. So the first 10 people get assigned to the first 10 available CAD designers. They work with the Discord person to work up the idea. Ooh, I like that. That's cool. And then next week, the 10 who didn't do anything this week could start on the next whatever designs. I like it.
Yeah,
That might work.
Yeah, so you have someone who is someone who's on the team who has got one of those 20 licenses is working with the person who brought the idea in the first place if it's external to that team, and then
Okay.
So
they would sort of be like the team leader, but everyone would be collecting ideas for the same part. And then whenever one would get promoted, I guess whoever happened to be the person working up that idea would get that part assignment to build it up inside SolidWorks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's
figuring stuff out. Yeah. Woo. Oh, someone asked me a question. Is finally working internet available? Yes. The internet wasn't the problem. It was my poor old laptop. It's on the floor right over there.
Don't feel too bad. So
it tried its best to serve me well. Yeah.
So the I forget what I was going to say with that.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. That's why this is ADHD engineering. Yeah, don't feel too bad about the old laptop. I just recently dumped I had like 3 old laptops in my closet, and I'm like, why it's like I think I like holding on to them because I was thinking like maybe there's a picture of one of my kids, on those that I want to go get, but I'm like, you know what,
lithium-ion batteries, man.
Yeah. Well, I ended up just dropping them all into an e-waste bin at my local dump, and I didn't feel bad about it. I kind of got over that, and
I thought you were gonna say dump them into a river.
that would
on
not
your way to work.
That would not be ecologically responsible.
It sure wouldn't. No. Wait. Okay. So we're getting a little off topic here, but Linux. I'm still running Linux, people. Like that wasn't the problem. It was the old laptop was the problem. All right. And we should mention Andre is one of the CAD team managers. He's just some random guy talking, but no, he's one of the managers of the CAD team. And he's the skeleton master of our skeleton. So
Chief Skeletor.
Yes, that's right.
I don't know if that's an official title.
I think it just became your official title, Andre.
Wonderful.
Chief Skeletor. The fun thing with SolidWorks Connected is that it's so unlike normal experience. Like you have to launch the program from the web browser. There's nothing, like if you're not logged in on and I also realized that like you'd never open a file from well, maybe you don't. I might be wrong about this, but I don't think you actually ever open a file from the oh, it's making me log in again. Oh.
Were you trying to say you never loaded up from your hard drive?
You load the file from the web browser, and then it appears in the desktop. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember Amos saying something about that, and that way you don't get your files confused with the watermark thing, which I forget what it's called.
Oh no, but that's already happening. If you look at once I get SolidWorks up, I have to, of course, I gave my my SolidWorks account a random password from the auto suggested super strong passwords. So I have to, if it, I asked me to log in. I'm doing this on my second screen, so you can't see it. But damn, if it's not annoying, because I have to like look up the password every time.
I thought you were supposed to have like a password manager on your computer for that.
So yes, however, this computer that I built here is from a business incubator, so it's a shared computer. And so
yes.
I guess I don't trust how secure this account, logging into this profile is. I just don't want to. I don't want to put my personal password manager on a public computer.
Makes sense.
Yeah. All right. So now we have SolidWorks login failed. No, it didn't login fail.
So while you're working on that, Tom said, my SolidWorks student thing is giving me a window to log in, and by the looks, open a file from within SolidWorks. Is that normal? I certainly can't answer that question, but are you using 3D Experience at school? The web-based access to all the fun apps?
Was that a question for me?
No, it's a question for Tom. Is the stream being recorded? Is being asked by NewsX.
Yes, it is.
This stuff is going down in history, man.
All right. So here's one of the fun things. So it's like, here this dialogue for recent documents, like that will not ever work. I cannot do that. You can make a new a new file from that dialogue, but there's all sorts of things where it's like the offline version of SolidWorks has been kind of just adapted. It's not native, and so they're just kind of connecting it to that. All right, so let's see. Can I insert a component?
That's so Tom's sharing his screen. That is the 3D Experience thing. We haven't given anybody any licenses except for the Andre and Eric and a couple, just the manager people, and David. Yeah, David would be the one to. David, are you in the Discord? Looking at Discord chat, maybe you can help Tom out since you're definitely a SolidWorks guy.
I just crashed SolidWorks again.
Good job. Do we need to start a crash count? Is that 2 so far?
Should put like a nickel in a jar every time it crashes. Oh, that would be so awesome. We should definitely do that.
Yeah.
Where'd you get so many nickels though?
Actually, I have lots of tiny things around my studio here. I'm sure I could come up with something. So we're at 2, right? 2 SolidWorks crashes.
Yeah, just by me and just in the last
last
few minutes.
Give me a minute. I'll go get something.
All right.
Sweet.
Oh wait,
I'm
gonna leave my.
I need to figure out how do I started an assembly. Why do I hear myself twice now?
Oh, because I took off my headphones and
You're
yeah.
fired.
Here, I'll mute me.
Fired.
Here, that's what I'll do. I'll mute me.
There we go.
Now I can hear you and you can't hear me.
All right. So what I'm gonna do? That didn't work, Maureen.
What?
I'm gonna open this with SolidWorks connected. I really just want to insert this part into a assembly. You should.
Oh yeah, that's going to be interesting. No idea how that can be done.
Yeah. All right. So now I have it open. And now I'm gonna make a new assembly. Assembly from part.
Did you use my file or did you draw it yourself?
Did you make a file? I didn't see it.
Yeah, I posted on. I think I sent you a DM about it.
I didn't
Yeah.
see that. Sorry.
Somewhere on the platform.
So yeah, the platform doesn't work if it's not obvious. This is the part, Maureen. You gotta do something. You're driving everybody crazy. I think. The
I
idea.
can't hear.
Sorry,
I can't hear it because I'm only listening to Discord audio.
Oh really?
Sorry about that, everybody.
All right. So the idea here is that I drew this part and I kind of left a sketch in it, and I intended that we're going to use this point of this part as the origin for basically everything. So I'm going to.
Also, this did you solve the 30 note problem, 25 note problem?
What was the problem?
Yeah.
Well, the drawing that you had was not 30 notes.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I do not know about that. that has a satisfying audio.
So one of my things that I like doing is beadwork. I have a lot of beads, so that's our counter jar.
Nice.
And everybody else who's working with SolidWorks, feel free to ping me when it.
All right,
we'll get a count going for the whole team.
This is a gripe I have too. You see this pop-up menu that I have here?
Mm-hmm.
It's almost useless.
Yeah, why does it look like that? That's so weird.
I have a feeling so I have two displays on this computer, and I'm sharing the one on the left because the stream is 1080p, and this is an older 1080p monitor. So I'm doing it so I have the image size right. But I have a feeling that a lot of times when I get error messages, I get them on the right monitor, which is like monitor number 1. And so I have a feeling that it's trying to size that pop-up that kind of way. And where are the mates? It's not showing any mates, but it's still yellow. Like I did one thing and I've already broken this. What's wrong?
David,
Sweet.
step in. You know how to fix this, right?
Well, usually there's if you right click there, just click what's wrong. There you go.
I did that. In the last.
Edit definition on the feature to correct the problem.
Yeah.
So the other thing is you see how you've brought in a part?
Yeah.
If you right click that and do edit feature, it'll take you to the same window that you started from.
Edit feature. Which one is that?
No, if you right click note box placeholder, there should be an edit feature. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. So that would be on the extrude.
No. Like importing the part into the assembly is a feature. So
no.
that's
You're saying rebuild or suppress the part and unsuppress it.
Oh, okay. Suppressed.
Yeah, both of those also work.
Hey.
Woo! Teamwork.
Yeah, we need we need one of those audio like laugh track kind of, but not a laugh track with the applause button.
You mean Martin's little hooray party thing?
Yeah.
Should I get an audio sample of that?
The one with the party popper that like appears over the top of the screen.
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
Yeah. All right. So now we're gonna do what I was trying to do, which is that the center of this music box is at the origin. Oh, there we go. So nice.
Press the eye symbol in the middle on the top to hide the sketch.
Oh, I don't want to hide the sketch yet.
Oh, okay.
I want this guy because this guy right here, that's 70 millimeters wide, which is the width of the tape. And I'm Andre, to your question about the 25 note versus the whatever. I saw in the actual the description of that 30 note tape that it is 70 millimeters wide. So I think as long as we have that, I've named this file placeholder. So
yeah, it makes sense.
Obviously, before we actually manufacture something, if we manufacture something, we'll get one and measure it and develop a real thing. I just want to have there be a logical starting point for this project, which is that we have the music box there and we design around it. So All right, so we're there. Now we are in the assembly. I'm going to make a layout sketch.
Yeah, Kookie just posted the little party noisemaker little emoji. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah. Except not the way that Martin embodied it.
Arthur's in the chat. Hello. Oh, so many team members. Woo! So Newsix has a question.
Yeah.
Not directly related to what we're doing, but I guess we could talk about it anyways. So this is related to what Martin's working on, right, or was working on this week, which is the shields for the funnels, and Newsix is going to be, or maybe he already has been, doing some test prints on his laser cutter to see if he can help Martin out with that. But his question is, any opinions on the marble funnel side plate ideas on Discord? I think Martin was so frustrated with what happened this week that he just wrote it all off and just decided, kill his darling and just kill the opening of the funnel. But I think the side plates are a great idea. I don't see why you wouldn't just design some and send them along with him if you are actually going to be working with Martin. I mean, what the heck? You could put the little holes in and show how it's sewn on, and you could show how it works on your 3D printed little funnel. I mean, if you have the materials and the time and the willingness to pitch him an idea, I mean, he may just be like, no, I'm done with that. Stop giving me ideas. But I don't know if you wanted to try that.
I look at those and I'm always happy to claim the funnels as one of the people who helped design them. But the way they were made, the way the moving jaw at the bottom works is based on this concept of the funnels being made out of stainless steel wire, and that was a design constraint. Like the fact that these are a metal wire that's stainless, that constraint drove a lot of the rest of the design of it. And if he's willing to consider other things, there's a lot of ways where for phase 2 we could do the funnels differently, including having it be more box shaped. So I mean, it could still be kind of like this, but there could be overlap. The two edges could bypass like that. And even with the existing funnels, he could compress. He could bend in the smaller jaw, the fixed jaw, widen out the wide jaw, and actually weld on another row of wire to create an overlap, right?
He could, but mentally he's done. And
well, mentally he needs to get onto I'm recording music and writing an album, and so
mentally he needs to get on to meeting with you and me so we can work out some CAD team stuff.
That too, I guess.
That's what I'm hoping he will do next. I know he wants to finish the machine, but we're getting to the point where we really just need to talk to him about a few crucial things because we're going to have to stop working until we're getting to the point where we're running out of defeatured stuff and we're going to be starting all the detailing stuff. We're going to come to a stopping point where we need his input before we can go forward, and I'd like to talk to him before we get to that point. But we'll see what happens.
Yep.
If he's in the zone, I mean, that's great. He has a hard time staying in work mode, so I'm glad he's exploring this. But we'll see.
Yeah. No.
Was there some kind of trauma that I missed?
The daily videos this week. Did you see any of those, David?
I caught some of one of them. It kind of surprised me. It's like a whole second channel for it.
Yeah, it's just his experiment. But the trauma is that he killed the funnel's opening and closing function. They're now zip tied together as just one unit.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, the suggestion, NewsX, if you are chosen to help him do those laser cuts, I'd say, offer him the suggestion, but do what he wants first. But if someone else gets chosen, I mean, the idea vault is just where we dump all of our ideas and we'll deal with it in the touring version. So, yeah. All right.
So
Oh,
we-
sweet. He said it looks like he's been chosen. Yay!
nice.
Congratulations! That's
Nice.
awesome.
The chosen one.
The chosen one. So we have some kind of major design decisions to make here.
Well, wait, are we doing this now? Because I thought,
Doing this-
like, are we gonna?
What?
Here's the question: are we pitching this idea, opening it up to the team, and actually using this as a practice of like, let's give everybody a week to come up with answers to these questions, and then next week
Yeah.
we'll like talk about them, or are we just going to talk about stuff now?
Well,
Like-
I don't think it's mutually exclusive. I think, well, so what I want to do
Okay.
now, because the primary thing I want to test with this Music Box project is testing SolidWorks and how it works for us, right? The how we
Yes,
involve
yes.
people is another layer on top of that.
Okay, so that's
But-
my
Yeah.
reason for these tests is
Yeah.
like the project management side of it. Like I don't care about the SolidWorks stuff, but no, I
Yeah.
mean like, okay,
Yeah,
no,
so-
that's good. So okay,
But
keep going.
that
Yeah.
that said, I also think that like I have zero qualms about drawing stuff this week, getting some feedback or some new ideas, and completely starting over from scratch next week. Right?
Yeah,
So
okay.
what I want to do here is I want to kind of, we have our list of course that part crashed. So let me bring up our design requirements again.
Wait, it crashed. Do we need another? No.
No, no, that's we already counted that one.
Okay. All right.
So let me find.
Okay, wait, so just to check, can you see where my drawing is on here? Oh, it is there. It says Music Box CAD. I think that is my file. But I can't see your files on my thing, actually. It's interesting.
Yeah, the
He might have
refresh-
to share his. You might have to share your what is it called dashboard with
Yeah.
Andre and everyone. That's one of the things I have to figure out how to do is like sort of create the home base of what we're all looking at and working
Just
with,
kidding.
and
I
then
forgot to
teach you all
scroll
how to use
down.
it.
I can see them, actually.
Oh, you can.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, and if you look at this view right here, right, you don't see them, but oh, there they are. I just realized. Anyway, so here, team chat. There's this thing. By the way, I found out this little logo right here. You can see it just above Maureen's box in the stream. This is important because there's a lot of times where you're looking and you're like, I don't know how to get out of this. Like, I don't know how to show, and that's because that was zoomed out.
Oh, yes.
That thing can
Right.
be small. It can be big. This icon can be hiding somewhere on this screen here. It can be hiding up here someplace too.
Okay, so this is the dashboard for team chat, and you can resize these windows and move them around so that they are nested nicely.
Right.
And that's how you expand any one of the little ones. And each of the tabs up at the top are other dashboards. No, not that one. Like if you clicked on project status,
Yeah.
you could.
These are tabs in this dashboard. And
Yes.
Arth, yes, this
In
is
the-
the 3DS
in the-
version. So the question in the chat is that is this SolidWorks? And yeah, it's the SolidWorks connected. So we're using 3D Experience, the online platform, and the version of SolidWorks, which is SolidWorks connected, that works with it. So yeah, so these are my dashboards, which I can, and then these are the different tabs.
Yeah. So if you go back, but you're not in the music box anymore now. You're in the.
Well, yeah, but see here, I already committed the sin of I made this little web notes application that I stuck in here. I put that into the MMXT project dashboard, not into. I'd made another dashboard for the music box project,
right, but
right.
it's in the wrong one.
but
Can you just drag web? No,
well,
go
no,
back
here-
to
but-
the other
no,
one.
But check this out. See this three. I put a 3D swim into this, right? And you can look at
Yeah.
the MMX touring general 3D swim community, even though I'm in a different dashboard. So like how the hierarchy works and how these things are supposed to like flow, I have no idea. I really don't.
Right. Well, I'm looking forward to figuring that all out,
Right,
and
so-
we'll get it working really. I think we can get it to be real slick, which it's just going to take us a little while to figure it out.
So if Sean O'Neill or Amos are watching this, not posthumously, but offline, these are the questions we have. Well, one of the things actually I wanted to do, was to create. Well, actually, this is what I did in the Music Box project, and maybe I should just move those things. Is I made two different lists. So this is SolidWorks gripes / bug reporting, which people on YouTube can't see because it's out of, and then SolidWorks questions, right? So like as we are getting used to it, if it's like, how do I, best way, that's in bug reporting,
Right.
best way
'Cause-
to insert a component.
Right. That's where, and this is great because I think we should play around with everything, try and figure out what we don't know. That's what we need to know, is what do we don't know, and then we can get training on it, and then we can really get things going. So yeah. I mean, we're such newbies at this point. We don't even have a clue what we don't know. So
I've been using SolidWorks for 10 years. Off and on. We're and I think
newbies to the 3D experience, not
sure,
not SolidWorks. Yeah.
And I
the
think
3D.
I think the thing that SolidWorks is going to get out of this is apparently the platform is new for everybody, and so if we can develop this and give them some feedback.
Let's break it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the plan.
Exactly.
Hey, well, we have our perfect software breaker. David is our guy to find anything. It's his magical power, I swear. Oh, and for people watching, David is another CAD team manager, another SolidWorks. He's our SolidWorks guru.
I don't know if I would go that far, but yeah, I'm a SolidWorks user from my employment in the past, and I'm an evangelist. I would say it's more.
Okay, that's more really what you are. Because we can't get you to shut up about it. So
that and the metric system, right?
Those are my two hangups.
Yeah, David has actually radicalized me for metric. But then I did a video to like the first in-depth video for this channel, for my second channel, and I realized I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, I'm designing everything in feet and inches. David's gonna kill me. It's like at the back of my head. I genuinely felt guilty.
That's what he wants. He wants that fear.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, yeah.
NewsX has a question. Does Katya actually work with this? I don't know how to pronounce that. It does. We actually have Katya. We have access to it for some reason.
Yeah.
But what we don't know yet is how do we connect people who have I think they have to have SolidWorks 2021 in order to share files, and if they don't have 3D experience, we don't know how we can actually import files from people who aren't on the 20 seats that we have to give to the team members. We don't know that yet. Maybe that should go on the list of questions.
Yeah. All right, so here's a question I have. Trying to stay back into actually doing some design stuff to get to I want to get to the kind of the meat and potatoes, just like kind of like overall design decisions to make, right? One is here. If you see this thing, I'm gonna close this. So this is how the paper releases from this wheel and it gets pulled through at the end of the song. He just has a slot in it. But I'm realizing already as I'm designing this thing, the layout sketch, is that I've constrained this line horizontal. Like, because here, the way I designed this placeholder part is that the music box, the origin is the level of the paper, right? So I don't know that this infeed line needs to be horizontal. And here I have this great thing where, I don't know why I had to hit that. It needs to be tangent, but it does not need to be horizontal. Oh, what did I just do? There we go.
Also, the paper isn't like infinitely thin. I don't know how much that matters at this scale, but
yeah. Well, part of me is also thinking that's why. Oops, that didn't work. I was hoping to put a make dimension driven cancel. I think, yeah. I don't know that I want to make that assumption yet, so I'm going to delete that line for now. But here's some big. I mean, I guess it's not really a big decision because we can change it. But how big is this going to be? 200 millimeters. So that's
How big is the other one?
That's the outside lip. I'm thinking that there's going to be a U channel, right? The paper is going to be in it a little bit, and so the paper won't fall off the edges. And yeah, we don't know how big the other one is.
So this is how knowing what case it's going to go in at the beginning can be pretty useful.
Yeah.
Because then you can have the maximum envelope, of whatever can fit.
Yeah.
And then.
Thank you for volunteering again, David, to find the case.
Well, I in the chat I put a link to a Pelican case that I actually own.
Oh.
It's the 1510, and it's specifically made for carry-on dimensions. It actually has that, but the inside is pretty big.
I didn't. Which chat? Oh, CAD team chat.
It's just higher up.
So as far as how big the wheel should be, so I don't think anybody but Martin really knows how big the MMX is compared to the original one, but wouldn't you all say it's roughly the same size? Like,
what do you mean?
I guess, okay, so the programming drum, like he had to come up with the size that's on the MMX right now from something. Did he just grab that diameter from the old machine? Anybody know?
Oh, the programming wheel. I have no idea.
Because if we are designing this music box to be the MMX equivalent of the original Marvel machine in music box land, then I think we should try and keep the dimensions of the original design intent, because Martin is such a visual person that the size that he made of that collapsible wheel was partially dependent on the case, but I think also partially dependent on what he thinks looks good. And I don't think we should ever make any design decisions with that not in mind. We should always be keeping what Martin thinks looks good.
Yeah.
And he made that wheel that goes so you can visualize the turning motor.
Yep.
The size that he did, because that's, either he traced a plate that he had or whatever, and that's the I think we should try and keep that. So we'll probably have to figure out dimensions. I mean, this is where we want to bring in the guy from the community who's actually building this music box in real life. And he's going to be...
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yeah, go ahead.
Does anybody figure out why I can't get rid of this constraint? I've been trying to delete this.
That's so weird. It's brown. I've never seen that before.
Gold. This kind of goldish brown that's a broken constraint sort of thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's right.
And it's still
yellow.
Oh, that is such a.
Wow. Try leaving the sketch and coming back into it and see what happens.
Oh gosh. Thank you, David. David wins.
That happens sometimes.
Amazing.
Okay.
It's a photo crash. It's like a crash, but it's different.
Yeah.
No, that jar is only for hard crashes.
All right. So let's try to figure out what do we think the size is here of this thing? Let's so
that's when we come in and
Oh, look, here's the music box. Look how big that is compared to the music. We don't have to get it perfect, right?
But standard Lego gears.
Yeah, eyeball good.
Lego.
Yeah. Let's try to eyeball it from that. So
those gears.
Oh, way bigger than this. We're talking like.
I know those gears.
Those Lego gears are like 3 inch diameter.
Sorry, what was that?
Me or Andre?
It might have been you, David. Somebody got.
I'd say it looks like probably 400, something like that. But who knows?
You should do the old Andre. Bring that image in as a background plate and just trace it.
Yeah, I know how to do that in Fusion. I do not know how to do that in SolidWorks.
Something new to learn.
I know. I'm not gonna figure it out while I'm streaming.
So I can tell you that as of at least the 2018 version of SolidWorks, the last time I actually tried that feature, Fusion is infinitely better at that particular thing. Just FYI.
David just said the words, Fusion is infinitely better than SolidWorks.
But you're already taking him out of context, and that's not nice.
I know. Those words came out of his mouth. I heard them.
No, it is absolutely a shortcoming. As of a couple of years ago, anyway, that in Fusion you could bring in whatever picture you want, make it a canvas, and then scale it, and then you're good to go. SolidWorks
the
is very low
hack way.
resolution.
The hack way to do it is just do Alt Tab real fast, and line up the image behind your screen.
I was able to do it in my file, but I now have forgotten how.
Okay, I'm going to the chat because we missed a whole bunch of stuff. So, okay.
It looks like the music
sketch tool. Okay, Yoren said sketch tools, image sketch, and then well tools, sketch tools, image sketch.
I'm not curious enough to try that right now in front of everybody.
Do it. We need to know. Do it. Well, go find the well tools. Where are the well tools?
Where are the well tools? Is that like as opposed to the sick tools?
I don't know. You're the SolidWorks user. Okay, where's well tools? Someone tell us.
Look at the top. There's tools right next to where it says SolidWorks connected at the top there.
Oh, tools.
Is that the right thing? Yeah, and then there's sketch tools.
Yeah, we want sketch tools and then image sketch.
Yeah, you got to scroll way down. There's like a million of these. You need to hit that down arrow, down triangle.
Sketch tools.
Yeah, there it is.
And then image sketch.
Sketch picture. Not available to me. It's there.
There's something called image sketch.
Well, it says right there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, we tried.
You have to be inside the sketch to be doing that.
I am inside the sketch.
Well,
all right.
So, you have to. Maybe you have to make a new sketch, brand new sketch.
Yeah.
Whole new sketch.
Oh, it starts a new sketch, so you can't already be in one.
I don't know. I just did it like that.
Well, I also don't have a perfectly orthogonal image of the thing.
Yeah, but we only need vertical scale. Don't be in a sketch, Tim. Try one more time. Just don't be in a sketch and make a new. It'll make a new one.
You guys are killing me. All right.
Do it.
All right.
I don't think that's gonna work. You have to create a new sketch, like just a brand new sketch.
Yeah. So sketch. Tools. Sketch tools. I haven't set up this computer is so new.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not there.
And just do a new sketch, whatever. Just try it. New sketch.
New sketch, and we'll do it on the right plane.
Oh wow! There's a new feature now. This is new. As of 2021, you can import a high-resolution picture. This is new. It didn't used to be like that.
Sketch picture is
not there.
But you can't do it. Oh my god, mine worked.
All right. So for the sake of professionalism, okay. I have done. How do I do image sketches? We've put that in the questions.
I think we've given it enough tries. Yoren says maybe it doesn't work in assembly sketches, so we'll learn this later. But thank you for trying, because that's what this is. This is us utilizing the knowledge of the team in the chat.
But I would want to use it in the assembly sketch because we're doing the assembly layout.
I've got it working for the record.
Oh, because you're a special guy, aren't you?
And in assembly.
I am in a part.
Okay. Well, maybe that's it. All right. So axle size, we're going for 8 millimeters so that we can use an LM8 UU bearing.
Well, David, do you want to throw that image in and try and figure out how big they are? While Tim's working over here.
Where do I get the picture?
So Tim, can you throw that image in the Discord chat? Look at us utilizing all the platforms.
What image? No, I can't because where I clipped that image from is on my laptop and I'm on my workstation now. But if you go to the, I just screenshotted the image out of YouTube on the Building the Music Box video. So if you can go to that video, I'm sure there's a frame in that thing where, because he has it like on a turntable and he's going around it. I'm sure we can pause it at a place where we're orthogonal to it, and we can grab that picture.
So with my fancy new fast computer, which by the way is still like not that good, but it's way better than my poor old laptop. I will do that right now while you're doing that, and then we can all work on this together.
Okay, so this is just an old Winter Garden video?
Yeah, I'm getting it, David. I'll get you the image. Hold on. Building the music box.
New video today.
Yeah.
So I don't have Discord on my PC. I prefer not to install it, so I've got to figure out how to get it.
Okay, well I'll get you the link and I'll put it in the chat.
From the platform, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, I should be able to do that.
Oh, yeah. Are you logged in there?
Yeah, I'm opening it right now.
Oh, that'll be a good test of using the 3D experience. Yeah, why didn't we think of that? We're so used to like having to have a workaround.
Well, so I don't know that I got a really good orthogonal shot uploaded. The two that I got, I wasn't really trying to do that. So
it's okay. We're still just eyeballing. It's all right.
Okay. So, but there are other large scale, like, large big picture design decisions I want to kind of get to. And one of those is, how do we do this drive mechanism, right? Martin's version of this machine, he used all these Legos, right? And this guy, and I think he did that because the Legos are hard, and he was just increasing the surface area, right? So in order for the Legos to actually grip, he needed to have a lot of them.
There's one of those pieces, like those assembled pieces, on the bottom and one on the top, right? Yep. And they're sort of compressing the paper, and the motor is pulling it through.
Right. But they're all linked together, and I think that the issue is that they didn't have enough grip on the paper, and so the reason why he did, all of these rolls is just traction.
Well, I mean, when you're using, if all you have is Legos and that's all you're using, yeah, but why can't we just get like a rubber, two rubber rollers or something?
That you're going exactly where I'm thinking with this, which is that I think, we can get rubber drive rollers, and if you look at let's go to McMaster car, McMaster.com, they have rubber drive rollers. So, and they have them in every single shape and size you could possibly think of. So, my assumption, and I think, and the thing I'm looking for feedback on, I guess,
which ones?
And Jorn is saying 2 rolls of the PVC sleeve. They have these in different durometers you can look at, from really soft. They have them smooth. They have them self-cleaning. They have these little belts in them.
Oh boy, lots of options.
All the options we could need, right? So my thought here, and this is kind of what I'm thinking, is that if we have a slightly larger drum here, and then we have a roller on this side, then we can basically have this roller, and maybe there's a gear reduction pulley on it, but we have our motor attached through a belt to this guy. Right now I'm drawing the belt just for illustration purposes. We can put our visual indicator on this smaller one. I'll try to reposition this so YouTube can see it. Right, and then this is the drive roller, and this is an idler. And if we have the motor on this guy over here, and then this assembly, this piece, that piece, they're all on an arm that pivots. Oops, I don't know why I did that. I thought I had a line that pivots down to here. Then just the weight of that, the weight of this motor with this drive roller can give us the clamping pressure between these two. is one of the things that he didn't do on this design is these are all fixed together. I don't think he has a way of doing variable clamping in between those two. I don't know if I missed that or not, but
so he just came up with that design through testing, then, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, utilizing the community, maybe we can brainstorm about like what is something that does this function of feeding paper through, like talking to Lucas about how it works for, player pianos. That's just, I mean, something has to be doing. No, that's probably reel to reel.
Right. Well, I know that.
And that's the thing about reel to reel is that they just go when it's like that. Right. And this is a different thing. So
so that's a primary design kind of decision to make, right? If we had an uptake wheel, we could put an uptake wheel over here and drive that, and then that would do
and then it's done. We don't have to
right.
It would just right.
But if we don't have an uptake wheel, then we have to have a paper puller.
Or really like a paper pusher, right?
You can't push paper. Oh. There's a joke to be had there. Yeah.
You heard it here first. It's impossible to push paper.
Yeah. Yeah, unless you work in Washington.
But that's a very thin. It's a thin cardstock. It's not a thin paper. When you see when he punches it, you have to. So, anyways, but just trying to ask the community, like, how I envision this working is there's a question that we have. We don't know the answer to. We have a lot of options of what we can order, but we don't really have the money or time. Maybe we have time, but we don't have the money to order all the options and see which is best. So utilizing the community as through experience about, does anyone have, like, should the one on top be rubber? And then, but you're saying one of them is actually the motor, right? It's not two rolls.
Yeah. So I'm thinking that this square thing is our motor. And it has a timing belt going out to a pulley, so we get a little bit of reduction going on. And the gear reduction is not necessarily for strength; it's just to increase the resolution of the encoder, right? So, and these things any of these motors is capable of going way faster than we would ever want the music machine to do. So, it would just be to kind of bring the motor kind of more into the high end of its normal RPM range. Oh man, that didn't work very well. I just want this thing to be tangent. All I wanted is tangency, man.
Lauren is saying SolidWorks is a tool to draw belt sketches.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that exists. I don't know how to use it, and again. Let me experiment.
Not going to learn right now. Yeah. He also said upper roller is fastened with an eye bolt, so you can change the gap, and probably best to go with rollers that use belt pulleys so they can slip if something goes wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the idea here is that this is a timing pulley. That's a timing pulley, and then this guy drives this drive roller here, and when we're talking about vibration isolation, and this is the other thing, right? I have these two slots. The idea is that in order to feed the tape in, that this whole thing can rotate like this, right, in that direction, and you can basically you can pull the paper out, pull it through the music machine, lift this thing up, put it between these two drive rollers, and then the weight of this motor that's out on that arm is what is giving you the friction between the drive roller and the idler roller, which is this lower one.
Okay.
So someone tell me I'm stupid, or if there's a better way to do it.
Well, not that you're stupid, just like let's other ideas.
Well, so what are the other ways?
I mean, with paper, you might not even need a roller on the bottom. You would just want to smooth. Like I could see it being an aluminum cylinder, just a solid one, not even moving, and the top one is the only one that's rolling. I just don't know anything about how how you get something to work like this. Like one would probably have to be rubber.
So this is that idea, right? But then there's also, if we're just putting them in a bunch of sketches.
I don't think you want to slide paper on metal because it'll pick up like all this black stuff and get rubbed off and stuff.
Okay.
I'm trying to picture what I'm visualizing.
I like the double roller idea.
I mean, we could also do multiple rollers, right? So this is the way that Martin did it. Sorry, I have to keep cognizant of what people can see. Right, this is the way that Martin had it before with multiple rollers, right? And here, the whole issue here is that you have more surface area, but I actually don't think that we, you know, it's a function of the friction that we can create in this system, and
right,
and then which is also a function of the pressure in between, and so
what in the real world works like this?
I was going to say and I have some experience. For my last startup company, our project, our product was the first manufacturing stages was the lamination. I took 2 layers of polyester that have been treated with, you know, what we did to it, and there was what was called a nip roller, and there was basically a driven roller next to an idler roller, and they, you know, just press them together, and this is the same thing. The only reason you would want more rollers like this would be if you can't get enough, if you can't get a good enough bite on it. And I've seen systems where you have like a larger kind of drum, and then you have multiple rolls around the side of the drum, and these are your idlers, and you would do this in case you want to kind of spread out that pressure and then have a good kind of tug on it. The downside of this, however, would be, let's say this is the paper coming in. The downside of this is that it would be hard to do that initial feeding. That makes sense?
Yeah, on stage, like loading a new song, it'd be like, all right, hold on, guys.
Yeah. And you know, if
consider how awesome it would be if all these rollers opened in different directions, like the whole thing just kind of disassembles itself like a mouth.
Yeah, that would be cool. You know, if these were on an arm, you know, and again, like the idea that I had the other time, which is that these are all in an arm and they can kind of come up together, this could work. But I don't know. I mean, putting in mechanical complexity when it's not needed is not
anything like the Marvel project.
Yeah. I mean,
so but by the way, I don't want to change the subject, but I just did the scaling thing with one of the pictures. It's the one with him on stage.
Yeah.
Sweet.
And I can report back that however SolidWorks is doing it now, it works 100 times better than it did a couple of years ago.
Oh,
so I think it's pretty cool. And I can say that the outer diameter of that small wheel is almost exactly 350 millimeters. Or sorry, the big wheel.
Of the big wheel. So
yeah.
I'm gonna make this 340, and this is 350.
I could measure the small wheel too if you want. I didn't even bother yet.
No, that's good enough because we may not have a small wheel.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know, my feeling is that, you know, 2 rollers next to each other is probably, you know, with 2 rollers, if the weight of this motor isn't enough to create the friction we need, then like a spring between this thing and the body down here would give us the friction we need. And that's really all we need to do. I mean, it's not like there's a lot of resistance to pull this thing through. This thing is going to be on a bearing. This thing, you know, these music boxes normally operate by these little, you know, cranks, right? It's not like there's a huge amount of force going into it.
So right. So I wasn't fully paying attention when you guys were just talking a few minutes ago, and you just said you're eliminating the big wheel. I assumed the small wheel. I'm assuming the small wheel is the take-up wheel.
There is no take-up
that not
wheel on the machine at all. That doesn't exist at the
what?
moment.
Well, then what does the small wheel do?
It's just a visual indicator. So he wanted to have something on stage so that because the paper comes off of the big wheel so slowly that it's hard to just like look over at it and know whether it's working or not. So he wanted he wanted one that was going to be moving a lot faster, that he could look over and tell, like, is this thing turning or not? You know, because there's
I
going
get
to
it.
be
I
dead
get it.
space at the beginning of a song, right? And
Mhm.
so if he's turned it on and there's no power, he doesn't want to wait for 15 seconds to figure that out. So
Yeah, I totally get it. It
Yeah.
makes sense. But you know, you could almost take advantage of that concept and turn it into something that does something.
yeah, well, we have an opportunity for a small wheel coming off this motor shaft, right? So especially if we're doing a gear reduction here with a belt, we could we can add a cosmetic indicator. We could put a Wilson right here, right?
Mhm.
And have that thing spin, and he would know exactly what's happening.
What if every gear was a Wilson? What if every single circle on this machine was a little Wilson?
We have achieved peak Wilson.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so let's get through this. So again, I've open to ideas on how we do the drive mechanism, but I'm just going to go with the idea that we have a rubber drive wheel that's going against a rubber idler wheel, which is, and they're both the same size, so that the part count is low, and they're probably the same wheel. Actually, the drive and idler wheels are different because they have keyways. The drive ones have keyways, and the other ones don't.
Right. You just put a keyway thing on a bearing, right?
That's true. That's true. So, and then, you know, I don't know that we need this arm sort of thing. But let's try to finish the layout here. So this dimension is set by the design requirements. He tested this. He likes how it sounds when there's a 9mm thick board for the music box to be on. The contact microphones are going to be on this left side, and then the way that this is held is with the vibration isolation mechanism that goes right through here. So let's draw the case or the main body box. Try not to infer any.
Just one thing that's different about your design that you've drawn right there and the actual box is that Martin put the motor like on the bottom inside the box, and you're going to have it hang out the front.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You could still put the motor on the bottom if you wanted to, because as long as it's pivoting on that pivot, it doesn't matter, right? Well, I guess it'll have more levers this way.
Yeah, but so that, I mean, that's the question, right? Is that there? If you take these ideas apart, right? There is the idea of having an arm, so that an arm that can be lifted up, so you can feed the motor through and then closed. That's one idea, which is a standalone idea. The other idea, which is that the motor is helping with that tensioning, is a separate idea, right? It could be that we could have the motor, and again, you know, the motor might be a bad idea actually, aesthetically, to having a big clear path servo motor sticking out there may not be appreciated. It might be that we want it here, and then there's an arm that comes up here, and the motor is down here, and this whole thing can still work if we put the motor down in the body.
Also, the music box has like a idler roller on it already. So if you're thinking that you're going to be able to open up this lever and then shove the paper in there and close it, you're going to have to disassemble the music box to do that.
So that is another question, and not exactly in the way that you were saying, which is that the paper, the box, there is a thing you have to feed it through here, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, could we, you know, well, and the reason I bring this up is that if we had a thing like this, there is a potential that if we could figure out a way to make another plate that came down on top of this so that you didn't have to feed the tape through, then you could actually try to close this circuit, and you could use paper. You could use a loop of paper. You'd have to be able to take the loop and slide it onto the machine, right? That wouldn't work unless you modified the music box itself. But if we could change, have this the thing that holds the paper down to the music box be something that also articulates, because this arm here, it could be on, doesn't have to be on both sides of the tape. It could be on one side with the spindles that it does coming off of it. Am I making sense? And then you could actually, I don't know, this is a design requirement, right? This is a question. Should we make this thing able to play an endless loop of paper music? But
we're not the musicians. Like, how can we answer that?
Well, normally we would have a client to talk to.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. We're doing design thinking for a client that has not asked us to do this. So that's
right. So I would say we stick to only the original requirements of the music box as it exists right now.
Yeah, that's valid.
But, and then, here, how about this? Okay, we make the MMX version of this music box to match the Marble Machine, so it has a baby, and then we phase 2 it. So we make another version that's all like beautiful and functionally perfect and everything.
Well, I think if we can create something here that that works the way that he has, right? With, I'm going to feed it a piece of paper. The paper's going to go out on the floor, but we can flick a switch and I can set the BPM, reliably. It's going to do that. I don't have to worry about the motor not starting. It's not going to mangle and break the paper that comes through it. Then I think we're good, right? Everything else is. But
I think so too. I mean, we could make things more efficient and ideal till the cows come home. Like, we could do this forever, but when it comes down to it, we will for phase 2. Martin's going to be directly involved with us, likely in these streams, and picking designs and having lots of feedback for us to work up his ideas with. So having this as a test project, great. Like, we don't know what Martin would want, so we'll just guess and make something that looks like the MMX, and if he likes it or not, it doesn't even matter, because this is, like you said, this is our practice project, learning SolidWorks, learning 3D experience. But we will have his input on the actual thing, so we could potentially, if he likes what we've done here, making the snazzier, more robust version of his original design, then maybe he would want us to make the next version. I don't think we can. We have to stop ourselves from going into crazy whatever land if we don't have any input from him, I think.
Right.
So, yeah, that'll be good.
All right. I'm just realizing if that's 2.3 inches, I'm almost at the point where we need to try to import that motor for size comparison.
Sure.
David, can you try to find me dimensions of this lower box?
Yeah, actually, that's very convenient. I've got this open right now. Okay.
David, where are you looking at stuff within the 3D experience? Are you able to access all that?
Yeah, so I downloaded the picture of him on stage with the paper tape in his hand, and I picked a part of the tape that looks like it's pointing like straight on to the camera. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell, but I said that's 70 millimeters. You said it was 70, right?
The tape is, yeah.
Yeah. And so then I took that and then just drew circles onto the wheels, come up with about 350 for the big one, 240 for the little one. So
and it's probably close enough. I mean, we can throw those measurements in, eyeball it, say good enough, call it a day. Like,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
so the length of the box looks like 525,
okay.
and the height looks like it's 240.
Okay. But oh, what did I just do? Oh, that wasn't a crash. I thought it just crashed. I hit something else.
Unless that's a door flipped open. To be honest with you, it's hard to tell from the side what this looks like.
Well, I'm gonna round up and make this 250 from the top of the soundboard.
Okay, well, again, it's hard to tell like what I'm looking at because it looks like maybe the side door is open, and I'm actually not measuring to the bottom of the side door. I have to look at another picture of it again. Okay. The width or the length is absolutely what I said, 525. It's just the height. So
Yeah.
I gotta take another look at a picture.
All right. I mean, this thing doesn't have to be a photorealistic reproduction. I mean, but I think
Just tracing with my fingers on the screen, the height is about the width is 2.5 times the height.
have you
So-
calibrated your fingers on a certified surface plate with a height block?
This is what is meant by eyeballing, man.
Yeah, so looking at the picture you've got on YouTube right now,
Yeah.
it was that lid flipped open, and I measured to a wrong dimension, but that's fine. The length's still 525, so
Okay.
It would literally just take me 2 seconds to give you
All right.
the
And
height
I'm looking
there.
at this sort of offset of the center line of the drum to the back. So it's right now the way I have it in SolidWorks is that it's off the back side of it. So
Yeah.
I actually need
Looks like about 215.
Okay.
The height.
215 of the box.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Is that with or without the soundboard?
That is just the box. So
Just
whatever
the
is above the box. Yeah.
All right. So I'm gonna do 220. Okay. Yeah, I think if we can get the aesthetics so that they are strongly reminiscent of the original product, that's not a bad thing. Does that look about right? No, I think it's got to be.
I'm gonna finger measure it. 1, 2. Yeah, about.
Well, is that 1.5 fingers? Is that a metric unit?
No, it's.
You gotta get out your finger
I'm
dividers.
not actually using it. Don't worry about
it. Okay, so
Max, from accuracy, you draw a thing on the screen which is a precise measurement. Then you have your fingers like that, and
yeah, it's mixed.
Yeah, I'm going like.
It's mixed units, yo. I need to figure out where all these things are going to be. The thing I'm worried about here is that if we have the motor internal and it's down here, the way to have good pressure, let's say if we did have a tensioning mechanism that was kind of coming off the edge, would be for this to be at a shallower angle rather than straight up and down. If this thing is straight up and down, you can't rotate it very far. You can't produce much of a gap by rotating it. So I kind of want this to be a little bit further right.
Yeah. Hey, we've got a question here from Yoran. He says, do we need a big wheel? Can it be 5 little wheels in a pentagon shape so it can become smaller to fit in the box? I don't know.
Yeah.
Kind of like that idea, but it should be a round shape because that circles are, there's circles all over the MMX. This is definitely intended to be a circle. So.
Yeah.
I probably gotta have like spokes or something.
Yeah, we definitely need
rotating
spokes.
That's the aesthetic.
Please save the file. If you crash, you lose everything.
Oh, well, I don't mind. So this is one thing I've learned, especially in the Fusion project, which is that like you can already see what a mess I've made of the dimensions. Like if you were to design this thing to our CAD standards, like I've already probably made 15 different sins. I'm gonna save it. I'm gonna take the hint. Box stream idea.
That's why you gotta like redraw it 2 more times until you get a good.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I haven't said anything, because to be honest, early on in the process, sometimes you have to just you have to go with your gut and then fix it.
you're just doing quick, spitballing, man. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. This is just idea, fun stuff.
Fun stuff.
Quick and dirty, slap some stuff in there and see if it works or not, and then you make it pretty.
Right. What do you guys think about having this line be tangent to the edge of the drive roller? Of the SolidWorks.
No.
SolidWorks doesn't like that, so I guess that's a no. That's because I accidentally made that one thing coincident.
Have a circular frame with the smaller wheels inside it. It would look a bit like the planetary gears on the MMX. Ooh. That was Lauren's comment again.
You could do something cool where like the planetary gears are actually like the bearings, and it's like held in place by like gears, so it doesn't actually have a hub. It's just like a hoop, and then you get like the gears pressing on the. I don't know if that's a great idea. But.
Maybe. So here's something else I want to bring up about these streams.
Yeah.
Are we going to limit their length? Are we gonna have a set length? Because we could do. We all know how long these our team meetings get. We could do this all day, and we'd all be like, "Yay, we're in Happy CAD land!" And then the rest of our lives just like.
Yeah, I realized I could have done this with a polygon. I just couldn't find it, and
talk about quick and dirty.
Woof. No, the idea was to do this for 2 hours, and so closing this up in about 3 minutes. That's the idea.
Okay.
You have to draw like a pentagram. That's the only way that you can make it work. Like that other part we were looking at. I forgot what it was.
Oh, what was that? The hidden pentagram inside. Oh, it was the flywheel, right? Was it the flywheel?
With the five hole pattern that was like a pentagram. Yeah. So good.
So in this case, you'd probably be better off doing a pattern anyway.
Good point.
Well, I just wanted to kind of look at visually, what did I just do? I exited the sketch.
It's funny how the delay is getting longer and longer too. It's weird.
Save!
Oh, because the delay extending means that your computer's dying. Is that your experience, Maureen?
Oh, always. If your computer starts acting buggy at all, immediately save. That's my trigger. Like, oh God.
There is no delays happening on my lightning fast machine right now. That's just YouTube.
All right. So that delay. Oh, I see.
I like this idea, especially as this thing gets pulled off, as the tape gets pulled off, these are idler wheels and they rotate on their own because they're in contact. That would be cool.
I have no idea what that means.
Someone want to translate?
What's an idler wheel?
So an idler wheel is one that is driven by the process. It's not connected to the motor. Right.
Okay. So it's like idling being okay. Got it.
Yeah. It is driven. And so normally in any sort of drive relationship, you'll have a driver and an idler, and the idler is the one that's just coming along for the ride. It's idle.
Okay. Yes.
But yeah, I could see us putting a sleeve of basically like a roll of tape, or maybe just the paper. No, because that wouldn't stay round. We could put just a round thing, over this, and as it unwinds going around, those other wheels would spin, and it's a cool idea.
I can see it, and that's staying within our design constraint of matching the MMX, like planetary gears on the music box. That'd be cool.
Also, yeah, I mean, there's a differential here, right? Do we want to match the MMX, or do we want to match the original music box and let it be?
We want to upgrade the original music box in the same vein of the design of the MMX.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's always that that question. It's like, do we introduce mechanical complexity for no reason? And the general design thinking is like, you never want to do that, but like the whole
Well, yeah,
MMX
but
is
the MMX. So we're still within our design constraints if we do that.
yeah.
We're not changing the original function and moving, like, we're not changing the function of the original music box, all the things that it does, including spilling paper on the floor and turning a big wheel. We're not changing that. We're changing the aesthetic to match the MMX.
Right.
So okay, so it's now after it's been 2 hours.
Yep.
So do we want to give assignments to the team for this coming week to play with stuff? Like how much do we want to get into this whole process?
Let's not do assignments, but let's I think we've kind of explored all the different ideas that are or at least several different ideas that are in consideration. And so what I think I'd like to do is just challenge people. So if they're, part of the CAD team or not, to feed ideas for how we could meet this design challenge, whether it's something we talked about on the stream or not, or it's a furthering of one of the ideas we've already talked about. I think what I want to do is look at some of those ideas. We have ideas for how are we going to tension the thing, that the tractor for the paper. We have ideas for. We didn't get into the suspension for the soundboard, but I think we're just going to knock off exactly what Martin already did.
We could get into ways of not using rubber bands, because that's the other MMX is like trying to get away from rubber bands, although there are some on the vibraphone. But
yeah, well, I mean, if you look at, I actually don't think there are. Well, we're over time already, but I mean, if you look at like microphones, a lot of times they're suspended on elastic things. I actually don't think that's a bad way to do that at all.
No, and it's good for sound. So, okay, how about this? What if you wrote out like a little, I don't know if we want to call it a project charter, but just like that overview in your notes. What if you wrote out like just sort of the conclusion of this meeting, shared that in Discord? What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to make a new CAD Team channel called CAD Team Music Box. This will be our test for phase 2. Mm-hmm. So if anybody has want to discuss this or put share your ideas or anything, all that should just be funneled straight into that channel.
Is that a CAD Team channel, or is that open to the public as well? I think it should be open to the public.
I'll have it be open to, it'll be in our CAD Team list, but I'll have it be open to anybody who's CC agreed. And so we will open submissions for ideas that we could talk about next week. But we can also iterate on each other in that channel just to keep, get the discussion going. And maybe maybe we can come to some conclusions by the next time we have another stream like this.
Yeah. So what I would love to do is to have some ideas, and then also have a little bit of time to, instead of next time we look at this, instead of having just looking at a sketch, have a little bit more of a model to play with, incorporating some of those ideas.
So are you saying you're going to do that, or you want some of the?
Well, I want to see the ideas.
CAD managers?
I want to see the ideas, and then, I mean, again, we're not dealing with any parts that are so detailed that we need to like farm this out to the team, right? We're
not farming out. We're in idea gathering mode. We'll have to come up with a name for all these different stages, but so that means
ideation is the
ideation. Oh yes, that's what you're calling it. Sorry, I've forgotten all
that's
your.
What people who are like me call it. Yes.
Okay, so we're in ideation mode, and that means Andre just posted a fun gear thing. Okay, sorry, I'm getting distracted. In the chat. So what? I totally just lost my train of thought. So what I wanted to say is, it doesn't matter what software you want to use. This is crayon drawings, pen and paper, any CAD program you want. Post whatever you want inside this new channel that I'm about to create. And so this is pre-SolidWorks ideation, and then we'll work it up in SolidWorks. You can also work in SolidWorks if you want to, like if you have access and stuff. So how's that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah. Okay. Any last thoughts from anybody in the chat before we sign off for our first little streamy? Well, technically this is our second stream. I think the Christmas party was the first stream, and you need to put that in your streaming part of your channel. I think
it's
I think that's the best way to have this channel be sent off. Like that's our.
I never look back, darling. That's my best. That's my best Edna Mode voice.
No, that's our like hitting the champagne bottle on the sending us off on our voyage.
Right.
Party with ridiculous CAD challenges.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I think that's it. I mean, we look for some ideas. I will, I'll firm up some of the things I think are built in. I'm going to try to get that stepper motor in here, and but then again, if we make any design decisions that we later on someone comes up with a better idea, we will meet and redo. I love doing that. So I don't love doing it, but I'm accepting of it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
All right.
Well, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for having my first live stream. One with 0 viewers. That means a lot.
Yeah, we're in double digits. Woo! I think the max I saw was 16. You. And thank you for all the CAD managers who are helping us out, Andre and David, in our little joining us in our audio.
Love it.
And thank you again to everybody on the team. You guys are awesome. It's so great working with everybody. Yeah. So let's see what we can come up with for this music box.
Yeehaw! Thanks, guys.